Is it weird that they sold us for the last 10 months that mom and dad were going to testify against him, and you're going to hear from his parents, and you're going to be so embarrassed when his parents say he confessed to them? You guys are out of your mind, and then we don't hear from the parents? Is it weird when he supposedly also confessed to Mike Mitchell, but they don't show us Mike Mitchell's testimony? Is it weird that Lance Twiggs couldn't look at a photo of the face of the guy who lives in his house, who he has seen naked, and can't recognize him with 100% certainty? A couple of pieces of testimony about the trouble they had with the rounds themselves. Here is a piece of testimony. This girl was nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. You could see her voice was breaking up, so don't judge her. Don't judge her. She's you could tell she's terrified.
Number 6. What is Exhibit 6?
Exhibit 6 is the bullet fragment, the bullet jacket fragment, as well as some other fragments that were recovered from Mr. Kirk at the time of autopsy.
Thank you. Going back to page 2, will you read the first full paragraph there, beginning with Exhibit 6?
Yes. Exhibit 6 consists of one .30 caliber class deformed damaged bullet jacket fragment and 4 lead fragments.
Will you read the next paragraph as well?
The Exhibit 6A bullet jacket fragment could not be identified or excluded as having been fired from the Exhibit 1 rifle based on an agreement of all discernible class characteristics and neither sufficient agreement nor sufficient disagreement of individual characteristics. The results of the comparison was inconclusive.
Again, we're talking reasonable doubt here. We're talking, is the story adding up? They just said that they had 4 bullet jacket and 4 bullet fragments. They tested them, and they can't tell what rifle they came from. And we just read this whole long thing about all the problems with Tyler Robinson and the text messages and the timing. Could he have been where they said he was? Why did he spell caliber that way? Who needs a rifle caliber higher than a .30-06? I've got a great clip here from our good friend. And when I say friend of the show here, I mean it in all positive ways. But I want you to listen to Nate, a firearms expert, a sure enough firearms expert, former Green Beret. He's the second guy here in the sort of green background, backwards hat. I want you to hear him explain the problem with the rifle rounds that have been discussed.
All right, guys. So conveniently, I just happen to have the exact .30-06 Springfield. They're actually 150 grain rounds at my house. Look at that. There they are. Now, looking back at this picture, I actually do think one of these rounds is a soft point round, and it looks like the other ones are FMJ rounds from what I'm looking at. But just so you guys understand, there's no difference here. And actually, if they're soft point rounds, this becomes even worse because soft point rounds are specifically designed for killing elk and moose, right? You guys want me to actually read you the description straight from the box of what these rounds are supposed to do? Here you go. They are designed for deep penetration and controlled expansion up to twice the diameter, the expansion of the round, which means his head would have been blown off, than a typical round, right? Not only that, the height weight retention won't break up or separate for more effective stopping power. So these rounds are designed to not break up. We also know that Charlie had 5 or 6 fragments because the bullet broke up. And they are also designed to go through a moose. The soft points. Now, FMJs are typically not what you're going to hunt with. You can, but they're still designed. So these are designed to penetrate as far as possible and expand as big as possible to blow the biggest hole possible to make the most damage possible because you're trying to get through elk, moose, and I'm not actually going to show the whole thing because who knows, but giant animals, right? Also, the way you can tell, you can see the tips of these, right? The difference is, I don't know if you guys can see, one's round and it's got, see how the top is all brass and then the top of that one is lead. The soft points have lead tops and they're actually designed to, again, expand and create massive damage as they blow through. So, the weapon and the rounds that Tyler used are specifically designed to kill moose and elk. So there we go. We know it's not some accelerator round. It's not some frangible round. It is basically the most powerful. So not the grain weight could be a little bit higher, but again, these are standard. This is what you're going to buy at Bass Pro Shop to go on a live big game with. So there you go, guys. Don't know how we're going to, even my buddies who are privy to there is a possibility that it's low grain or shitty ammunition, bad loads, reloads. It's not grandpa's old ammunition. It's not grandpa's reloaded ammunition. Those are brand new rounds straight out the box from Walmart. So
I don't know how anyone's going to argue anything else. You know, when we first learned it was a 30-06 and it did not go through the back of the neck, there was a panic. There was a panic among the Fed sloppers on the phone with the doctor. Did he have a Superman neck? Come on, Superman neck. Stat. Was it, instead of bones, did he have titanium and steel? They're designed to go through an elk and a moose. You see my neck? You see that thing? I'm not a moose. I'm not a moose. I'm not an elk. I don't even know what an elk does. Looks like something. I mean, also looks like this, but I'm neither. Nor was Charlie Kirk. I don't care how much spinach he ate. You can't change reality. You can't change reality. Again, we're talking reasonable doubt. And I think, honestly, Judge Graff, we're talking, is it likely that this is the right story? I'll tell you right now, they didn't give you all the story. The prosecution had their opportunity to put it on the case, and they didn't. Now, I want to show you the pictures of the recovered fragments. These were supposedly, allegedly removed from Charlie Kirk. And you'll see there, that's what they look like. So this is the same piece. You can see this 25 W0401 Exhibit 6A. As received. I think this is the back of the big piece, and this is the front of the big piece. This is what it supposedly looked like. And they've got, so that's the big piece, and then there were 4 other small pieces. But is that all they had? Well, we don't know, because if we listen to the testimony here, we got to wonder, where's the rest of the bullet? Where's the rest of the bullet? Because they didn't only recover 4 pieces.
Ms. Carter, one of the items you were asked to look at was, as described in your report, 1 bullet jacket fragment and 4 lead fragments, correct?
Yes.
Were you informed at some point that there was a discrepancy between what you were examining and what had been documented by the medical examiner in terms of the number of bullet fragments?
I was, yes.
Were you asked to see if maybe the ATF had lost certain portions of the evidence?
No, I was not.
Right. Do you think, and was it your understanding that there were originally 7 bullet fragments, but you ended up with 4?
I was alerted that there was potentially 7 fragments from the medical examiner in a photo just a few months ago.
Okay. You're clear, though, that when you got the evidence, it was in a sealed condition, correct?
It was, yes.
And when you opened, what was it, an envelope?
A small individual manila envelope, yes.
And did you take the contents of the envelope containing the bullet and take photographs of it?
I did, yes.
Okay.
So we have missing evidence. Again, maybe they were small, maybe that somebody made a determination that they couldn't do much, but where are they? Where are the 3 other fragments? And why don't we have them? Why don't we have them? Because if I'm the defense, I'm going to argue those 3 exonerated my client. That was the evidence that someone was just shoving stuff in his neck. And when they pulled it out and they realized, oh crap, these 3 don't match, lose them. I mean, that's how I'm going to argue it. How do you know, Mr. Jury, that that's not what happened? And you'll know if it's picking up with the jury because they'll start doing this. When your jury's moving, you're hitting. When they're going like this, when they're leaning in with the mouth open, you're done. Move on. But when they start, most jury chairs move. And when they start rocking in that jury chair, oh, keep going. It's like a comedian. You know you're hitting. Run the story. Keep going. Keep talking. Now, we have knowledge of how big a 30-06 Remington is because I have documentation. This is a 308 versus a 30-06. Key specifications. The 308 is a short action cartridge. The 30-06 is a long action cartridge. They both have a bullet diameter of 0.308 inches. Keep that in mind, please, ladies and gentlemen. As we go forward to the next piece of evidence, keep that in mind. A 30-06, we are told, is 0.3 of an inch, 0.30. That's where the 30 comes from. So over here on the left, the reason they named it 30-06, it was a 0.30 inch round, and it was invented in 1906, 30-06. There was a 30-04 before that, but the 30-06 became kind of the gold standard. That's what became the U.S. military round for like 6 decades. So the 30-06, that's where it comes from. But it's not actually 0.30 inches. It's 0.308 inches. That's the diameter of a 30-06, 0.308. In other words, it's just as big a round as a 308, which is named 308 because it's 0.308 inches. We keep the name 30-06 because originally it was 0.30. So if you have Granddaddy's rifle from 1912 and it's got Granddaddy's ammo from 1912, it might actually be 0.30 inches. But if you have ammo produced in the last 50 years, it's 0.308 inches. But Baron, why are you so bent out of shape on this issue? I'll tell you precisely why I'm so bent out of shape on this issue. Why can I not get that to go? There we go. Well, I'll tell you precisely why I'm so bent out of shape on this very issue. Because we have testimony on just how big around the round was. You would expect, because they're telling us it's a 30-06, that the diameter of this fragment is 0.308 inches. That's what you would hope to see if it's a 30-06. Pray tell, Madam Expert, what was the diameter?
Look to see if there was individual characteristics in the land and groove impressions sufficient enough of marks and values to do a comparison process.
Now, once you have the class characteristics of a bullet, can you narrow the range of firearms that could have fired it just based on class characteristics?
You can, yes.
And is caliber a class characteristic or an individual or a subclass characteristic?
It's going to be a class characteristic because a lot of firearms will have the same class, or excuse me, the same caliber.
Did you measure the diameter of the bullet?
Listen carefully. Did you measure the diameter of the bullet?
I did, yes.
And did you end up with a range where it could have been certain range of length or diameter?
I did, yes.
And what was your reading?
Can I refer to my notes,
Yes,
please?
please.
Oh, by all means. We want accuracy here. We're talking about a man's life. And by the way, we're all expecting 0.308. We're told it's a 30-06. But madam, please.
The range of the diameter for the 6A bullet jacket fragment was 0.286 to 0.301 inches.
0.286 to 0.301, which means it cannot possibly have been smaller than 0.286, nor can it be larger than 0.301. We're going to the second decimal. We're striving for accuracy. She's an expert. She's from the government and she's here to help. Anybody else see a problem? Do I need to pull the diameter of a 30-06 back up? I'm not going to, but do I need to? Do I need to? But I'm not going to. You guys are smart. This is a high IQ jury. We don't slow the class down for the low IQ bumblebees. No. We press ahead. I've got one more piece to show you here. But I put all this together before we even get to, is Tyler capable of taking this shot? We put all this together and we have to ask a question. If you're sitting on a jury, can you send this man to his death? And if there's even part of you who goes, I don't know, that is a not guilty verdict. That's a not guilty verdict. You don't have to be 100% certain, but you have to be almost absolutely certain. Reasonable doubt. You're allowed no reasonable doubt. Is it reasonable doubt that the bullet jacket fragment is too small? I think it is. Is it reasonable doubt that the text messages are all out of whack and appear to be written by somebody else and use the British spelling of the word caliber and really doesn't make sense? Daddy needed a bigger gun than a 30-06. Are you kidding me? This is designed for elk and moose, but no, that's not big enough for Daddy. He needs something bigger. Does it make sense that he was really looking around for the rifle at 11:30, whatever time that was, when he's supposed to be on his way back from Panguitch, if those people can be believed? Is it weird that they lost fragments of the key evidence in the case? Is it weird that they can't tie the fragments to the gun? Is it weird that there's 5 people's DNA on the gun? Is it weird that there's 3 people DNA on the screwdriver and on the trigger? Is it weird that there's multiple people's DNA on the towel? Is it weird that he has a safe at his house, presumably for things just like this, but he doesn't use it? He puts all the evidence right on top of the safe before he runs off to commit a crime? Is it weird that he says he wants to take it to his grave, but he confesses on Discord to anyone who will ever have a link for all of posterity to read? I think it is. Is it weird that they sold us for the last 10 months that mom and dad were going to testify against him, and you're going to hear from his parents, and you're going to be so embarrassed when his parents say he confessed to them? You guys are out of your mind. And then we don't hear from the parents? Is it weird when he supposedly also confessed to Mike Mitchell, but they don't show us Mike Mitchell's testimony? Is it weird that Lance Twiggs couldn't look at a photo of the face of the guy who lives in his house, who he has seen naked, and can't recognize him with 100% certainty initially? Is any of that reasonable to think maybe he didn't do it? I think it is. I think it's absolutely reasonable for somebody to say, I don't know, man. There's a lot here. There's a lot going on here. One more thing. You would think we have been told that Tyler Robinson is such a fantastic shot that he can disassemble a rifle into different pieces, shove it in different parts of his body, jostling around as he's walking. I mean, I know where his car was parked. It was like 3/4 of a mile away from campus. He walks 3/4 of a mile, limping around, jostling the rifle, jostling the optic, everything's sloshing around in his body. He climbs stairs with it. He hangs out, and then he grabs a screwdriver and just beep, 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 puts it back together. And then he sprints across a roof, lays down 15 to 20 seconds tops to get a bead on Charlie Kirk. Take that exit breath that every shooter has to take or you're going to miss. You can't shoot on the way in. You got to shoot on the way out. And nails the shot. Well, you would think a guy like that, without all that pressure, with a gun that wasn't just reassembled, would be a dead eye. I'm going to show you his targets, his practice targets that probably were inside 100 yards if I had to guess. This guy's a terrible shot. The X is right here in the middle. Everything's over here several inches away. You come over here, it's even worse. He's got something all the way down here in the little 7 ring. I mean, he's missing there are several bullets that actually missed the target entirely. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but down here, I'm looking at the target all the way to the right. Down here on the lower left, there's just a random hole through the board. Between these first 2 targets, there are holes in the middle of the board. He's not even on the target. This guy sucks. They're nowhere near the X. And this is a guy, when you're shooting and zeroing in, you've got all day to sit there and dial it in. You are in no hurry on the range or in the backyard, wherever he was. You've got all day to sit there and just slowly squeeze and pull that thing. Let it shock you. Breathe out. Let it surprise you. Nice, easy squeeze. You should jump when it does it because you didn't know it was about to go off. And we're told this guy who can't even hit a target solo by himself in controlled environment with a gun that's already assembled is somehow jostling as he's walking 3/4 of a mile, limping around all over town, optics moving around, barrels, all down your rear end, crack. I don't know where it was. Oh, it's even worse. Wait. I should have used this one to begin with. Look at this. Look at these holes down here. He's not even on the target. The target's up here. Those are the hole punches at the top up there. These are misses. Guys, I'll end where I began. We were promised a mountain of evidence. The state has closed their case. They're done. They're not introducing any more evidence. What you see is what you get. And what we see is Fed slop. That's what we see is Fed slop.